Difference and dominance in the classroom. The event I've chosen is Australia Day. Every year on January 26th, we celebrate Australian nationhood, commemorating European arrival on the continent. This public holiday is a day for people to celebrate being Australian by doing things that are typically Australian. Many families get together to play or watch sports, picnic in the park, have a barbecue, or attend events with other Aussies and take part in thong or gumboot throwing, face and body painting, and having a beer with mates. We also celebrate with ceremonies all over the country by giving awards to those people who through their achievements are great Australian role models or who make great contributions to their community. There are citizenship and affirmation ceremonies where people become legal citizens of Australia and affirm or reaffirm their loyalty to Australia and its people. Aboriginal people view the day differently as a racial group. They have a whole set of different experiences associated with the date. They do not view it as a celebration, rather an invasion. I think this last image really sums that up well and says what they need to say. The purpose of this presentation is to show how you might educate students about difference and dominance using Australia Day as an example of a social event where these are clearly evident. To introduce this topic to students, the teacher could show iconic Australian items or pictures, for example thongs, meat pies, the Australian flag, Vegemite, a surf lifesaver and a Kubra hat. The list goes on. Then have a look at what these things have in common and describe them. The learning outcome could be a word wall, a picture wall or a project page which would show the Australian identity as seen by the class. You could follow this by questions which may include what do you do on Australia Day, what's special about it, what does it celebrate, for example. The images and props provided should help students to answer these questions. To introduce the concept of dominance and difference regarding this event, the teacher could start with the question, does everyone in Australia do the same thing on Australia Day? You could easily have a look at some other pictures that show different cultures. Here I've just used Aboriginal or Indigenous Australians, but you could certainly get pictures of Asian or Middle Eastern people celebrating Australia Day and what they do, what foods they eat, what activities they do. And there's a large variety of topics that teachers could use, but of course I'm going to focus on the Indigenous perspective. You could start by showing pictures of Indigenous people and what they do on Australia Day. Use a series of questions to get students to describe and define the images. There'll obviously be differences between the two sets of images that you've shown. So the first set that we looked at of all the very happy-go-lucky people enjoying themselves and having a fun time, as opposed to Indigenous Australians who clearly on the photographs, and you could choose lots of different photographs that show that they are really not happy. So you could make a complementary and comparative word wall or project page to show the differences or to highlight the differences there. To enhance a student's understanding of the reasons for these differences and further explore the idea of dominance and difference, the teacher could use a resource like a graphic novel, The Rabbits by Sean Tan, and you could choose a range of activities that you could develop from this book.